So I'm making my way back down now from the cross. What I did is I hiked all the way up this from that cul-de-sac all the way up to the top of the cross, and then I walked over and did a class 2 scramble up a berm, crawling on my hands and knees to get to the highest point I could get to without trespassing. So now I'm coming back down. I'm not going to film much on the way down, but I was talking earlier in one of my previous clips about summer holly, Comerostophilus diversifolia, and this one right here, here's an example right here that I missed on the way up. So this is Comerostophilus diversifolia, subspecies planifolia, relatively flat leaves. Subspecies diversifolia would be more akin to this shrub here, closer to this shrub here, which is Mission Manzanita, Xylococcus bicolor, and the leaves would be more curled under like this. And I've seen both subspecies of Comerostophilus. Here's the one I shot earlier today. That's the one I shot earlier. But now I get a more of a close-up example of at least the foliage. So now let's get over to it. You'll get to see the serrated foliage. So Mission Manzanita leaves, the edges are smooth. Summer holly is not. And if you looked at my video clips of the Mission Manzanita, the fruits come in singulars of 1. Well, there are no fruit on this summer holly, but it is blooming. These are the flowers, similar to Mission Manzanita. They're kind of bell-shaped. It's hard to get good focus with this camera, but they're kind of bell-shaped, kind of like a Mission Manzanita, only they come in these, I guess these racemes, which is an inflorescent stalk with the individual flowers. And from that, the fruits will come that way too. And unlike Mission Manzanita, they're not smooth, they're a little bit warty. They're roughly similar in size and shape, but they're warty and red and soft, and I believe mealy inside. I've never actually investigated the pulp of it. But another thing I wanted to point out, Mission Manzanita has smooth brown bark. It peels, but it doesn't take any furrowed characteristics. However, you can see here, the bark is stringy, grayish and stringy, and it gets stringier as the plant stems get larger. So you can see down here, the bark is pretty stringy. So flowers in racemes, or like inflorescent stalks with individual flowers on each side. Fruits warty, red, and fleshy. Leaves serrated. And then on Mission Manzanita, I'm going to find the bark of a Mission Manzanita as I work my way down this slope. Now that I want to point out the differences, it'll probably take me a while to find one. Now that I want to point out the differences, it'll probably take me a while to find it. But you'll see that Mission Manzanita has smoother bark, and here's one coming up on the left side. Let me just carefully work my way down this trail. Yeah, here's a Mission Manzanita right here. You'll see the difference here, as the flowers and fruits are born in more of a semi-globular cluster. This one's old and dried up. Then it's going to be hard to see, but bark is a lot smoother. It's kind of hard to see. I try to reach in as far as I can, but the bark, you can see it's not all stringy. It peels, but it's not stringy, and it's brown, very attractive, very similar to its related manzanitas. So, and again, the leaves are entire. They are not serrated. They don't have a jagged edge like the summer holly. And there's a mission manzanita right there. And it seems like mission manzanitas tend to be a little denser in habit. So don't use that last contrast as a full-bloomed diagnostic aid, but stringy bark, serrated leaf edges, that's summer holly, Comerostophilus diversifolia, and that variety was planifolia because the leaves are relatively flat. If the leaves are serrated and curled under, that is subspecies diversifolia, which is, I believe, it's supposed to be the more common of the two. I believe subspecies planifolia, I think, is found on the Channel Islands as well. So if you're hiking here, oh, here we go. Here's another summer holly right here. Another one I missed on the way up, right next to a mission manzanita. So here we go. This one's another subspecies planifolia, as the leaves are relatively flat. And again, jagged edges. Stringy grayish bark. Kind of a looser habit. Again, flowers in racemes. Mission manzanita. Smooth, slick, grayish, brownish bark. Leaves not serrated, smooth edges. Of course, curled under. That's just typical for the habit. And, well, there's no fruit on this one. The fruit are hard, stony drupes, whereas the fruits on the summer holly are, again, lighter red, fleshier. So that's it. The mission manzanita and the summer holly. So if you're ever hiking in the chaparral and you come across it here in San Diego County, just pay attention. And of course, here's another similar species, at least similar in outline. This is another plant you'll see much more than the summer holly, and probably a little bit more than you would see mission manzanita, is toyon, Heteromeles arbudifolia. Again, the leaves are similar in shape and outline, and they're serrated like the summer holly. However, toyons have, at least younger toyon branches, have a light gray, relatively smooth bark. And when the trunks get really old and large, some of them can actually get into small tree size, then the bottom of it, the bark will be very lightly furrowed and a slightly darker shade of gray. And another way you could tell toyon apart is that their flowers come in kind of a rounded cluster, and they flower in late spring and early summer, and then their fruits ripen in usually mid-fall to early winter, and their fruits are in large rounded clusters of bright red, smooth, mostly smooth, maybe slightly grooved pomes. So if you slice a pome open with your fingers, you'll see that it's structurally like a miniature apple. And it's not a berry, it's actually a pome. So that's another shrub you could come across, or, well, will come across, that has very similar surface characteristics. So if you're hiking in chaparral, those are three fairly similar species. Here, oh, we have a very nice summer holly right here, actually. Here's one right here. Here's a perfect example of a summer holly. The foliage tends to be a little bit less dense, a little bit looser. This one's actually quite a decent sized specimen. This is a summer holly. I can see the gray stringy bark. You won't see it on the camera very well, but it's a nice sized shrub. The foliage is not very dense. It looks like it's probably suffered some from several years of drought. I can see the old fruit clusters on it. But this is actually one of the larger specimens. I've seen some decent ones in San Clemente Canyon, which is down, actually, down that way, San Clemente Canyon's right over there. There are some decent sized, there's like a decent sized one along a ridge as you're going up towards the 805 freeway. But yeah, so summer holly, toyon, and Mission manzanita, 3 fairly similar species. You might have to scrutinize them a little bit more closely if you're not already familiar with them. I'm pretty comfortable just by usually seeing them at sight. Well, toyon I could recognize from a distance. Mission manzanitas fairly easily, because I've, you know, paid attention and noted all the details, because I like to be very detail oriented when I'm hiking and checking out all these plants. But sometimes if I see something that looks like it might be a summer holly, I'll have to go up and look for the stringy bark. So that's it in a nutshell. There's another toyon. There's another toyon. And again, here's another toyon. So those are 3 species. Heteromeles arbustifolia, the toyon, Mission manzanita, Xylococcus bicolor, and Comerostaphylos diversifolia. And up here it seems to be predominantly subspecies planifolia. Though the one I saw in East San Clemente Canyon is a variety diversifolia, because the leaves are very strongly revolute, just like a Mission manzanita. So just wanted to point out those 3 if you're interested in botanizing. One other thing about toyons, their new leaves kind of have a reddish hue, kind of like the photinias that are planted ornamentally, because they are related to the photinia fraseri plants that are landscaped out here. But alright, I'm going to keep on hiking down. I hope you found this little bit of information. Well, I kind of made it drag out for more than 12 minutes. Hope you found it informational and helpful in identifying 3 awesome chaparral species here in southwestern San Diego County.